So today I am going to be showing you guys how to rank images within maybe 48 hours. If you're following this video, it's going to be really easy by the end of this video. So reasons why you would want to rank images. So potentially if you have got an e-commerce store, sometimes just ranking organically in the SERP is just not good enough. You want to also show up in the Google Images section, which I'll show you in just a second. In some cases, you might be having, or you might be providing more of a visual product. So for example, if you're doing kitchen remodeling and stuff, people aren't necessarily going to just look at the set of 1 to 10 results that Google shows them. They're going to actually go over to the Google Images section. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to actually rank there. Also very quickly, on the 26th, 27th, and also the 28th of June, I am hosting an in-person SEO conference in Manchester, so if you want to learn from the best, from the likes of Craig Campbell, Lara Acosta, James Dooley, Carrie Rose, and many other speakers, head over to themasterminders.com and get your links get your tickets while you can. So I ranked Craig for biggest SEO cheapskate, and this is basically the actual results here. So as you can see, Pinterest is ranking number 1. But like what I was saying before, in some cases, people don't just look at the top 10 set of results. Like, for example, if I was looking for a red dress, for example, you might search like buy red dress, right? A lot of people, or a lot of women, they wouldn't just look at these 10 results. What they would actually do is they would potentially go over to the shopping section, or they might also go over to the images section as well. So it's really important that you actually end up ranking your images in the images section. Same goes with like service-based companies as well. So for example, if you don't have an e-commerce store, but you're doing like kitchen remodeling, people do tend to go onto the images section, and they might actually just click on this. And by the way, this is coming from experience in this industry as well. People will literally click on this image and they will say, or they'll fill out the contact form and they'll say like, hey, I want that blue kitchen. And they will literally just say the cabinets, the worktop, etc., etc. So it's always good to be able to rank your images. And not only that as well, image ranking right now is really, really easy. So I've decided to give the images SOP that I presented in Saigon. So this is like literally the 101 when it comes to images. So 1920 by 1080p, it's best for rankings. So this is based off of like the testing that I have actually done when it comes to ranking images. I don't know why, but Google just prefers 1920 by 1080p. Not a clue why. Now, in some cases, you will look at some images and you might say, well, this image isn't 1920 by 1080p. Like a lot of these images that I have just clicked on here, they're not 1920, but based off of like hundreds of images that I've ranked myself, 1920 by 1080p seems to be the working one. So that's the one that I tend to stick to. At least 50% of the image needs to be text. So if I go back to the previous example that I showed you guys, so for example, as you can see here, Craig Campbell, biggest SEO cheapskate. This was just like a kind of like a promotion for my conference and stuff. But as you can see, the text is really big, enough contrast. So if you are going to have text in your image, in some cases people might not want to do that, but if you are, make certain that there is enough contrast, so it's not just like white on grey text, because that's sometimes a little bit confusing. Google might not always understand or be able to read it. Logo of your website, so I have got the logo there. In some cases you can also have the URL of your website as well. That does seem to work pretty well. Text central, now I've not actually done this, but the reason why I'm saying text centered is because sometimes your images gets pulled into the AI overview section, and if your text is like over to the right or not central, it just gets cut off and it just doesn't look great in the AI overview. So that's the only one reason why I've got the text center. Name your images. So again, I'm gonna assume that a lot of you guys are already doing this, but for example, This image here is called 16 best kitchen remodel ideas. If that's the keyword that you're trying to rank for, then do it. But if, say, for example, you're an e-commerce store and you have used a load of different like images on a DSLR, sometimes I see this often actually. A lot of e-commerce stores, they just upload images and it's like 16.png and stuff like that, and you're just not helping Google at all. So always make certain that if you are uploading images through to your website, that you are actually naming them correctly. It's kind of like if you were to create a page on your website, you wouldn't just call it /16, right? You would actually call it what you would want to call it. The alt text, again, the alt text of the image, really important. If you aren't doing that, highly recommend you do. Let's just see what these guys have got the alt text set to. So the alt text here, do they actually have an alt text? Oh yeah, alt text, best kitchen remodel ideas, very similar to the actual page title that they are trying to rank for. So again, it just makes sense to name your images accordingly. Text around the images is really important as well. So, for example, the text here, or even if there was text underneath the image, if it correlates to what you are trying to rank that image for, it can definitely help. Another thing to bear in mind as well is the subheading above the image. So, if you are trying to rank island in the sun, kitchen remodeling, right? Make certain that the subheading is actually it corresponds to what you are trying to rank for. So island in the sun, kitchen remodel. So as you can see here, this is the actual image right there. So Google does actually take into consideration the context around the image. Like, for example, if this content was talking about, I don't know, wet sponges, right? This image would have a little bit of a higher chance to rank for wet sponges. So just bear that in mind. The content around the image is pretty important. And then the last thing that you can also do is there is an image sharing gig that I'll show you guys in just a second on Fiverr. So if you've done all of this and it fails you can do the image sharing gig, and then you've got a chance of Pinterest ranking for that image. But in time, your website will actually take over, or your image that's actually hosted on your site will take over. So if all else fails, you guys can go over to Fiverr and get this gig. It's by a user called Cafe V. And basically what this does is it will blast your images to sites like Pinterest, Tumblr, and you will be able to rank very, very quick. There's other things that you can also do, like embedding your image on other sites, but that probably deserves its own video. Like, doing all of this 95% of the time will rank your images, even in like really tough industries and stuff. Like, this is the exact SOP that we use when it comes to like online reputation management. If somebody's got like potentially like a mugshot or stuff, and we want to remove the mugshot and replace it with other stuff, this is basically what we do. It's a little bit of a time consuming process, but it works very well. So that's been the video. Like what I mentioned at the start, if you guys do want to learn from the best, head over to themasterminders.com. Otherwise, if you want to hire me, head over to casualdash.com, fill in the contact form, and I will be in touch. Thank you for watching.